What's up, YouTube fam? Welcome back to the channel. There's no way to sugarcoat what's happening, right? Whatever's going on is just not good, but we're dealing with it. So obviously, if you've been following the channel, you know that we've been on quite the journey since we started, right? We got all the way to 25, came back to 19.1, all the way back up to 24 just 2 days ago. And here we are right now, back at 19.1, which is obviously not where we want to be. So how did we get here? Well, I guess first we'll start with crypto. It did have a rough day. There is this, you can argue head and shoulders pattern that Bitcoin's showing, but at the same time, we definitely have tons of demand. So in terms of crypto, right now we're just trading this range, and ultimately between who wins, the bulls or the bears, it's really not up for us to decide. There's still no reason to really believe that the bears are in control just by looking at this, right? It looks like we're clearly on a floor. But with that being said, in terms of our position, it wasn't the greatest day in the world, but it wasn't the worst day either. And I still believe that, we're kind of sitting nicely in terms of what I think Connell could do, right? It obviously had a run up in terms of where it looked like our account was back to being, profitable, right? We were at 24,000 again. And now just like that, we're back down, basically all of it. Obviously, assuming this position expired either worthless or close to expiration, then the account would be back at 24,000. Now, where does that bring us with RGTI? Obviously, it's been a very rough week for quantum computing as well, which again, after doing further diligence into this position, it's not even a position I should have been in to begin with. Now, I will say this, I might not be an expert in the world of quantum computing. I might not be an expert in even option selling, as I've only started selling options, November 6th, and I've tracked every single mistake and every single win live. But what I am an expert in is taking a loss. And, regardless of how much we're down with this position, I'm really just not super concerned. I'm not panicking yet. Even if quantum computing does end up being a big rug pull, I do anticipate that by January 17th, which is next Friday, we will get some sort of pullback, and hopefully, it ends up being a good one and I can get out for something that is reasonable. I mean, obviously this dump is not good, but as you know, when it comes to the put market, a strong pullback will kill these premiums. Maybe not completely since they're deep in the money, but it will definitely give us a lot of money back. And if I do have a chance to exit where I'm not losing, so much, I don't have a number yet, I'm going to have to play it by a year, then I'll definitely get out. And, one of my issues with this position is, it just, first of all, the stock is just not, it's not a profitable stock, right? It's much more speculative, which, I don't mind chasing speculation because of the fact of how often companies that you think are doing well end up losing value, right? Like, if you go look at Walgreens stock, if you go look at Wayfair stock, if you go look at CVS stock, like there's a lot of companies out there that you would think are doing well. So in a lot of ways, it's almost better to just lose quick. Now, with that being said, position sizing definitely saved me, right? The fact that I wasn't in for a large sum of the account. Now, don't get me wrong, it was like 6,000. That's still a good amount. But, even if RGTI did end up going 50% below $16, the account would be taking a $2,000 haircut, $2,500 haircut. And ultimately, this Connell position is still a much bigger portion of our portfolio. So in terms of RGTI, the big mistakes I made, in my opinion, are, not doing a deeper diligence, right? Obviously falling for the hype, falling for the quantum computing hype just in general, seeing the high premiums and not guaranteeing that it is a profitable company, right? When we go and we look at their financials, ultimately the earnings are in the negatives. The revenue is down from last year. So, this isn't the type of stuff that you really want to be selling puts on, right? You want to be selling puts on either, either indexes or just very, very strong companies that are showing growth, companies that are showing revenue increasing. TQQ is something I really want to be selling premiums on in the future, and still what I believe is ultimately the safest strategy. Even with the amount that I have right now, which is obviously a very small amount compared to what the account could be and should be, I can still be producing, what is it, $400, every week and a half or so, $500 every week and a half or so with TQQQ. And yes, as much as it's a leveraged version of the Qs, it's still not going to do what RGTI did to me today or what Connell has done to me. Now, Connell, I have no problem rolling, and it still does provide opportunity to roll down, which is why I love the Connell position. Ultimately, Coinbase, something like Connell, it's one of the things I really don't mind being in. In this case right now, I'd be able to roll all the way down to 46, which I really have no problem doing. I'm almost happy to do. But with RGTI, I really can't even roll, which is another thing that is concerning me. And I don't know if I'm going to even roll, because even if I go, 50 days out, I'm still only able to get my entry price down to 15, $15, which is just $1. So it'd be $200 was what it would save me. And to me, that's just not worth it at all. So I don't even see myself rolling this position. So it's really going to be just trying to get out, on a pullback. If we don't get the pullback, then I'll just, see what happens. I don't anticipate losing 6,000 on this position, but if I do and I make 4,000 back from the other position, I don't know. I don't anticipate it again. I don't see myself losing it all. I see myself getting out on a pullback when this position recovers some of the lost value, and then moving on and just learning our lessons. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you learned lessons from my mistakes so you don't have to make the same mistakes, because I do believe selling options is still an extremely profitable strategy. But if you do it on the wrong stocks, nobody is going to save you. Nobody. I promise you that. You will be on your own in a deep, dark abyss. You don't want to be there. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, if you've learned from lessons from my mistakes, make sure to like, make sure to comment, make sure to subscribe, show some love. I'll see you guys in the next video. The market is closed tomorrow, but I'll anticipate still hopefully getting a video out. If I don't, I will see you guys Friday for the next video, so you guys can see where this account is at, where we're at on this challenge, and how we're going to turn this around and bring this back into the green and ultimately to new heights, which would be above 26.7. So again, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you learned a lot. I'll see you in the next video.